Look at this picture. It looks like the regular globe. But actually, it's just a photo of a hollow sphere where the surface is now on the inside. When we look at the sky today, we know that it's the vast, wide universe, and compared to that space, the Earth isn't even as big as a grain of sand. All scientifically proven and regularly supported by National Aeronautics and Space Administration images. But as long as you don't fly into space yourself and see with your own eyes how the Earth reveals itself as a sphere, the farther you fly away from it, there's always a slight skepticism. This skepticism is healthy. After all, our vision makes up the lion's share of the reality we believe in, even if logic and reason suggest something else. Imagine that. In reality, we're not looking away from the object, meaning the sphere, to the outside, but everything we see is inside the sphere. So we don't live on the surface of a sphere, but on the inside. And when we look up at the sky, we're looking toward the center of the Earth. Mathematically, you would describe the Earth as concave, not convex as commonly assumed. So it's curved inward instead of outward. An upside-down world. Mathematically, it's an inversion relative to Earth's surface. That means this theory goes beyond the usual hollow Earth theory, and the term hollow world theory is somewhat misleading because the Earth, so to speak, contains everything that exists. It was first developed in 1870 by Sairas Reed Teed and still has loyal followers today. Before we get into the details of this strange theory, we need to say a few things about its creator first. The American Sairas Reed Teed was a doctor and, during his training, he dealt with healing methods that would today be called alternative medicine, in other words, herbal medicine, homeopathy, or therapies involving electric shocks and magnetic fields. He also studied alchemy. He reportedly got an electric shock during one of these experiments in 1869. He blacked out and reportedly experienced a heavenly vision. He experienced enlightenment and saw the nature of the universe. We live inside a sphere with the sky and celestial bodies near its center. But how is this supposed to work dimensionally? The following three axioms are taken as the basis. All lengths shorten more and more the closer something moves to the center of the hollow world. Only the light rays that move exactly toward the center are straight. All others are circular and pass through the center. So all light rays are generalized circles passing through the center. The speed of light decreases the closer the light moves toward the center. Since the distances to the center become shorter and shorter, it follows from axiom 1 that everything slows down the closer you get to the center of the sphere. This also applies to light. The speed of light is therefore not constant. The center itself can never be reached. The reason why we have never noticed it until now is supposed to be that we assume light travels in a straight line and that the speed of light is constant. But if the propagation of light is curved instead, it only creates the illusion of a full sphere. The lengths that get shorter can, so to speak, only be determined by a system-independent God. An inner world inhabitant doesn't notice it, since everything, even measuring tools, changes in length. When you look at the Earth from space, everything still seems normal, just like in the example at the beginning from Rolf Kepler. That's exactly how today's satellites are supposed to experience it. Because of the bending of light rays, we see the Earth as a full sphere. The closer you move to the center, the smaller the sphere becomes. The ground beneath our feet encloses the entire universe. But what exactly about our sun? For all phenomena like seasons, the sun, the moon, or rotation, Teed finds sometimes bizarre explanations in this system and writes them in his book. The moon orbits 3,000 kilometers above Earth, following the largest path around the inner axis. Next is the sun at 4,500 kilometers altitude. It's simply a radical shift in perspective. The Earth's surface is inverted. However, the formulas for calculating planetary orbits become complicated and not very clear. But anyone seriously supporting this theory assumes Earth holds a special place in the system. Since the Copernican revolution, we had accepted that the Earth is nothing special in the universe, although that might also be relative in terms of the planet's characteristics. But this model makes Earth important again. It's no longer the center of the universe, but rather the edge. But then the question arises, what is beyond the edge? Even if there are no contradictions with classical physics, some principles would be lost with this theory. In contrast, general relativity generally does not harmonize with this theory, because you cannot specify a universe around an exciting coordinate system that could then be reformulated for the inner world theory. The mentioned axioms are not sufficient to explain relativistic effects. Another major argument against this theory is that, in a similar way as with the Earth, you could assume an infinitely large universe inside any spherical object, such as a stone or an atomic nucleus. Because what if the object that contains all of this is just a bit farther away from us again, like viewing Earth from space? Why should the Earth be the decisive object? So, which of these objects contains the universe? You can already see the problems. Only a few followers remain today, because more and more scientific discoveries are being made that make this theory more problematic, such as the proof of the existence of the Earth's core. That hasn't even been discussed yet. If everything were completely transferable, then no mass should be lost in the parallel model, in this case the Earth's core. Because the Earth's interior must be found again somewhere in this system. You can always find a possible explanation, but what does it all matter if you can't prove your claims? Teed founded a religious, socialist community that at times had 4,000 followers. He wanted to finally bring clarity with an experimental proof. Together with a colleague, he comes up with results that supposedly confirm concavity. These are highly controversial from various perspectives. To this day, it hasn't caught on. The idea is interesting, and the theory isn't obvious. The version of a convex Earth that we use today is the obvious one. To reverse such an established and previously successful concept can, and that's what he's accused of, having religious motives. Often, such theories try to put the Earth at the center. But no matter how unique and beautiful Earth is, at the moment it looks like we're not even a dot in a gigantic universe. This vastness overwhelms us and makes us philosophize. And maybe that's exactly the message that even a religious person should enjoy.